Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video tonight there is lots to negotiate about. I am going to be giving you a bit more additional information on Jadon Sancho. And by the way, there's still another one of my videos uploaded, and that's actually the news on Jadon Sancho, but a bit more additional information is updated about him now, so we'll be discussing that. Also going to be talking with you a bit more about Ighalo. I've been talking with you about him on a regular basis. And also too going to be talking with you about Timo Werner. Also being keeping you up to date of what's been going on with him. And also going to be talking with you a bit more about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and stuff, of how he's improved Manchester United and that, since he got recommended in. So there is lots of topics to delve into, but we'll start with the news on Jadon Sancho. I've just been reading a couple of media outlets, and they have said we might wait 12 months to sign Jadon Sancho. So that means, we may not get him in the summer transfer market. I think, maybe it's because of the coronavirus pandemic. Now, also too, Jadon Sancho has fueled more speculation up because he has made an admission, saying when he was growing up, he was idolising Wayne Rooney. So this is what also too Jadon Sancho has come out with. Now, like I updated you on my previous video that I did earlier on today, the Italian journalist Marcotti, he came out and revealed that a source close to him said that Jadon Sancho prefers a transfer back home to London. And obviously, don't forget, Jadon Sancho began his footballing career in London with Watford, because he was at Watford for several years, was Jadon Sancho. Now, obviously, Chelsea have expressed their interest in Sancho, and Chelsea have been in for him, for quite some time. Reports did say quite a few weeks ago, though, that, Chelsea had dropped their interest in the player. But I did say, didn't I, reiterate what I mentioned on my last video. I think if Jadon Sancho does go, back to London, I think he will make a move to Chelsea, because I think actually, Jadon Sancho is a lifelong Chelsea fan. And like I mentioned, the likes of Arsenal won't be able to afford him, and I don't think they'd pay that for him anyway. Tottenham, Daniel Levy won't pay that kind of money, and plus, Jose Mourinho's got a bad reputation with the top players and that. So if he wants to go to London, I think he will go to Chelsea. But despite what's been coming out of the mainstream media today, we are still emerged as the favourites to sign Jadon Sancho. And he did reveal if he leaves Borussia Dortmund, his preference would be a move to Manchester United. Now, obviously, Borussia Dortmund are remaining ruthless over their valuation. So basically, they are reluctant to lower their asking price. Dortmund have already said, they want at least £100 million. Some reports were totally contrast quite a while back, because, some reports were saying, it could cost us up to £120 million. But either figure, would make him a record signing in the Premier League, and it'd make him our most expensive signing as well, because our most expensive signing at the moment is Paul Pogba, who we paid £89 million for. I'll give you the list of our most expensive signings at the moment. Pogba is the most expensive. Our second most expensive signing is Harry Maguire, who we paid £80 million for. I think... Who was our third most expensive signing? Our third most expensive signing, I think, is it Bruno Fernandes, or he might be the fourth most expensive signing. But Bruno Fernandes is in that list as one of our most expensive signings, because we did pay around 65 million for Bruno Fernandes, with add-ons included. Also, too, Lukaku, he's up there as well, because we paid 75 million for him. Well, Lukaku must be the third then, because we paid 75 million for Lukaku from Everton back in 2017. Also, too, Angel Di Maria, he's on that list as one of our most expensive signings. And, of course, Wan-Bissaka is also on that list. But like I've said to you before, we are known for overpaying for players. But, yeah, so we've already confirmed anyway. We said this last week, that we are not, willing to break our transfer record to sign Sancho. So we're not willing to meet Borussia Dortmund's valuation. We have basically said we are only willing to pay in the £80 million range for the player. But if we was to wait another 12 months to get him, then I think, it would be cheaper than £100 million. There again, it depends how he would perform at Dortmund next season if he was to remain loyal to them. Don't forget, quite a few weeks back, it did actually say that Borussia Dortmund believe that they can convince Jadon Sancho to sign a contract worth around £9 million a year, which would make Sancho the second highest paid player at Borussia Dortmund, just behind Marco Reus. But Sancho's already confirmed anyway that he wants to leave Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund have got quite a few players on their agenda who could replace him. But revert back to 2017, which was of course 3 years ago now. Don't forget, we came close to signing Jadon Sancho then. This is obviously before he went to Borussia Dortmund. Now Jadon Sancho is into his third season at Borussia Dortmund. He's into his third season with them. Gotta say, since his arrival at Borussia Dortmund, he has been a revelation. There again, he was dropped in quite a lot of games earlier on in the season, was Jadon Sancho. And obviously, of course, Borussia Dortmund is the third club in his playing career. Because obviously, before he was at Dortmund, he was at Manchester City, enjoyed a couple of years at Manchester City. But he had to leave Manchester City because he never got any first team opportunities. And like I said before, he was at City, he was at Watford. And Sancho's still got a contract with Borussia Dortmund until 2022. But it's Borussia Dortmund, if they do let him go in the summer, they will make a huge profit on the player because they only paid around, was it £8 million for him from Manchester City back in 2017. Now, don't forget, it's confirmed we are willing to offer Jadon Sancho the number 7 because, we have got number 7 vacant at the moment. We've got number 7 vacant. Obviously, like I said to you before, we've had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations, but our recent number 7s haven't been so good. Obviously, Sanchez was very, very inconsistent. He endured a difficult 18 months at Manchester United, did Alexis Sanchez. He was the last number 7 we had. We also had Memphis Depay back under the Louis van Gaal era. He was also very, very inconsistent, but I think he'd do well in number 7, and I think Jadon Sancho would go well alongside the likes of Mason Greenwood, Rashford and Anthony Martial and that in our attacking line. And taking into account, Jadon Sancho's got a very, very good friendship with Marcus Rashford, and Rashford did reveal earlier on in the season that he wants Jadon Sancho at Manchester United next season and that. So there you go. And like Fabrizio Romano broke out, who's an Italian journalist, Fabrizio Romano, he came out a while back and said, we've been in negotiations with Jadon Sancho's agent for quite some time. We've also been working on his contract. I think it did say at one point we was willing to pay him around £200,000 a week and that. So there you go. So that would make him one of the highest paid players at the football club. But like I said to Borussia Dortmund have let quite a few of their players go to the Premier League in recent years. Don't forget they lost the likes of Aubameyang to Arsenal. They lost Shinji Kagawa. They also lost Pulisic, they lost Ilkay Gundogan, so they have let quite a few, their players go to the Premier League. Jadon Sancho, by the way, is only at the age of 20, and he's predominantly a right winger. And, don't forget Manchester United are in search for a right winger. Obviously, it did say quite a few weeks ago, and it might have been even a month ago, Jadon Sancho will reject to move to Manchester United if we fail to get qualification for the Champions League. So there you go. So we may delay our move for him this summer and wait another 12 months to sign Jadon Sancho. This is what, reportedly now Manchester United are planning to do, because we may get him cheaper in the summer of 2021. And like I said, Marcotti, who was an Italian journalist, also from ESPN, he said today that he wants to make a return back to London, does Jadon Sancho. But he is one of our priority targets anyway. So that is the latest news regarding Jadon Sancho. Now let's delve into news on Timo Werner from Leipzig, then we'll delve into some more news on Ighalo. So the news is on Timo Werner. You already know it anyway, but my light. Yeah, you already know it anyway. The news, but a bit more news is updated. Reportedly, Timo Werner will reject a move to Chelsea and Manchester United in the summer because he's already confirmed that he does want to join Liverpool. Liverpool's his preference. Don't forget as well, recently, Timo Werner had turned down a move to Bayern Munich. But these reports are stemming from the German press. They've said he will reject a move to Chelsea and Man United. It has confirmed, that Man United and Chelsea have obviously, been in contact with his agent. because don't forget, Liverpool did recently ask Timo Werner's representatives to give them a bit more time to submit a bid for the player, because Liverpool have not yet submitted a bid for Timo Werner, because actually, Liverpool did suggest out recently that they may not make any signings in the summer transfer market, because I think it said last week that Liverpool had put their summer spending on hold. But I did say, didn't I, Werner will only leave RP Leipzig if he can get assured a move to Liverpool. If he can't get a move to Liverpool, then I think he'll end up staying at RP Leipzig, will Timo Werner. Now, obviously, Timo Werner is available for around £52 million. Because that's his release clause in his contract with RP Leipzig. So he is a cheap solution, is Timo Werner. Of course, Timo Werner is now into his 4th season with RP Leipzig. And, he scored like 88 goals in 150 games in all competitions, has around 72 goals in the Bundesliga, does Timo Werner. Don't forget, became the youngest player to make like 200 appearances in the Bundesliga, yeah. And he's still got a contract with Leipzig until 2023. Leipzig did pay around €10 million for him from Stuttgart. And he was also very, very good at Stuttgart. He became the youngest player to ever represent Stuttgart. Also, became their youngest ever goal scorer. And Werner's, 23 or 24 years of age? Werner's versatility is also very, very good, because he can play as a centre forward. I think he can also operate on the left wing, and he can also operate on the right wing. But if Liverpool do make any signings in the summer, I think they will get Werner on the board. Liverpool have been in advanced talks recently with the player. They haven't put in a bid in yet, but the Daily Express said the other day that Liverpool have offered him a contract. I think it's a 5-year contract worth around £9 million a year plus bonuses. But yeah, but he definitely does want to make a move to Liverpool. So reflecting on that, I'm very, very sceptical that us or Chelsea will sign the player. But if Werner came to the Premier League, I think he'd do very, very well. I think he'd be able to rediscover the form, what he's done in his 4 years or so with Leipzig, and also what he produced at Stuttgart. I really, really do. But, for Liverpool to get Timo Werner, they've got to sell one of their attacking trio in Salah, Firmino or Mane. So obviously, Werner can get game time week in, week out, But there's been a few clubs that have expressed their interest in Timo Werner, so there you go. But, we've been in for him because, we're in search for a centre forward anyway, because, we're looking for an adequate replacement for Romelu Lukaku, because, of course, Lukaku left the football club last summer. He went to Inter Milan for, £72 million. So we nearly did recoup the 75 million that we did pay for him from Everton. Lukaku's done very, very well at Inter Milan, but he's got a good pedigree in the Premier League as Lukaku, and he did enjoy 2 years at Man United. Scored like 42 goals in 96 games for the football club in all competitions. But it's a shame last summer that we didn't get that adequate replacement for Lukaku. We didn't get that adequate replacement for Herrera last summer in our midfield, because we let Herrera go on a free transfer after he enjoyed 5 years at Manchester United and that. So there you go. Now, we will give you the news on Odin Ighalo. So, the situation, don't you, regarding Odin Ighalo? Of course, there is uncertainty over his future at the moment. I think we have begun negotiations with Shanghai Shenhua, for us to keep Odin Ighalo for, the remainder of the season. Obviously, we want to extend Odin Ighalo's loan deal. Want to extend his loan deal, because we are now in May, and Odin Ighalo's current loan spell at the football club does end on the 31st of May. So we are looking to extend his loan deal. We could get Odin Ighalo on a permanent transfer. So maybe this is why I want to extend his loan deal, so we can have more time to negotiate whether we're going to get him on a permanent transfer or not. It's already been revealed it will cost us around £15 million to get Odin Ighalo on a permanent transfer. But he is a cheap solution. Like I said to you before, if Odin Ighalo had been like 4 to 5 years younger, it'd probably cost us a lot more than £15 million. But Ighalo's a lifelong Manchester United fan. He's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. Odin Ighalo has 4 goals in 3 starts for the football club. So he has done very, very well, and got to say he has been a good cover up for Marcus Rashford. So yeah. He's been a very, very good cover up for Marcus Rashford. But, we did pay around, was it £4 million to get Ighalo on loan. And I think, we are paying like now a third of his wages, because I think his wages at Shanghai Shenhua are like £300,000 a week. So, yeah, maybe he could, return to Shanghai Shenhua, or he could go to another team. So maybe we won't get him permanently. It is unknown at the moment. It really, really is. But I think Solskjaer deep down wants to get Ighalo on a permanent transfer. Don't forget, was it a month or so ago? It might have been even longer. Shanghai Shenhua would come out and offered him around £400,000 a week, plus a 2-year contract extension, to try and convince him to turn down a permanent move to Man United. But there again, we may not be too bothered about getting him on a permanent transfer, because when the football season does eventually resume, I think Marcus Rashford will be fully fit, because Marcus Rashford has been stepping up his fitness regime for Manchester United. Of course, the only main explanation why I think we got Ighalo anyway is because of the injury of Rashford. I think if Rashford wouldn't have got that injury, I don't think we'd have got Ighalo in on loan, personally speaking. But like I said to Rashford has been out of a back injury since our 1-0 win against Wolves in the FA Cup third round replay. Solskjaer, of course, made the wrong decision by playing Rashford in that game. But yeah, like I said, he's one of our best players, and he was one of our best players earlier on in the season before he got injured. Of course, Rashford has been a United player since the age of 7. He's been in our senior squad since 2016. And since then, he has become an integral part of the team. Don't forget, Rashford scored twice on his Europa League debut against Midtjylland. He also scored twice on his Premier League debut against Arsenal. Scored on his first Manchester derby, his international debut. I think he also scored in his League Cup debut, didn't he, as well? This is when he broke into the senior squad in 2016, Rashford. And Rashford's got 19 goals in 30-odd games this season. Over 60-odd senior goals in just over 200 appearances overall. Very, very good player. But when Rashford does come back, I think he will be playing out wide. I know he can play the number 9, but, he seems to be more effective out on... He seems to be more effective in that wide position, does Marcus Rashford. That's where most of his goals do come from. Rashford's a foreseeable future for us. He is only at the age of 22. Yes, he is in that. So I think, we'll keep Anthony Martial in the number 9. Obviously, Martial has been playing centrally this season. And I know Martial doesn't predominantly play centrally. He mainly, plays out wide on the left. Because in his 4 previous seasons prior to this one, Martial, has been playing on that left-hand side. Like I said, before the football season got suspended, Anthony Martial, did rejuvenate himself. I think Martial, has he got 16 or 17 goals, is it this season for Man United? I think one of the best seasons Anthony Martial enjoyed was his debut season back under the Louis van Gaal era. Did very, very well under the Louis van Gaal era. Don't forget, Martial did score on his debut against Liverpool. We did pay around £36 million for Anthony Martial, from Monaco, potentially rising up to 57 or 58 million based on goals and achievements and that. So, there you go. There you go in that, based on goals and achievements. But yeah, he's only 24 years of age, is Martial. We did actually, get him as a 19-year-old. So there you go. So I think, he will stay in the number 9, will Martial. I really, really do. But yeah, so anyway, that is the news on Ighalo. But there's been, quite a lot of strikers on our agenda. Obviously, recently I give you the news on Harry Kane. Like I said, I'm very, very sceptical that Manchester United will sign Harry Kane, because Solskjaer's actually, delighted that we're not going to get Harry Kane. Because obviously, Solskjaer believes Rashford's as good as Kane. Tottenham have basically said, if they were to sell Kane in the summer, they'd want a world record fee of £200 million. And very, very sceptical that Man United would pay £200 million for Kane. Maybe, we could possibly get him in the foreseeable future, when his, valuation drops. But he's not worth £200 million. Kane could leave Tottenham in the summer for all we know, because he did make an admission back in March, saying, that he could decide to leave Tottenham if he feels as though the team are not progressing, and he will not stay at Tottenham for the sake of it, because Harry Kane has revealed his ambition, and his ambition is to win silverware. and he hasn't experienced any of this, so far at Tottenham, and he has been at Tottenham for several years as Kane. But I think we first expressed our interest in Kane back under the Louis van Gaal era, but we won't get Kane because there's much cheaper solutions than Harry Kane. Obviously, you've got Aubameyang, he's available for around £30 million. Don't forget Aubameyang's been on our agenda. I'd definitely take Aubameyang at Manchester United, I really, really would. Moussa Dembele, don't forget I gave you the news about him last week, Moussa Dembele. He admitted, it will be hard for him, to turn down a move to Man United. Moussa Dembele probably would cost us in the 60 or 70 odd million pound range. Moussa Dembele is now into his second season in France with Lyon. And I've got to make an admission, he has been a revelation for Lyon as Moussa Dembele. I think he's got a contract with Lyon until 2023 as Moussa Dembele. And, Lyon did pay around £20 million to him from Celtic back in the summer of 2018. So this has been his second season at Lyon. I think at Lyon he's got around 42 goals in 88 games. For Celtic, he scored around 51 goals, or was it 52 in 94 appearances. And another beneficial thing about us recommending Moussa Dembele in is that he has played in the Premier League before. Because obviously, he began his senior career with Fulham. And I think Moussa Dembele is only the age of 23. So he's been another striker on our agenda. Like I said to you, it was a shame that we missed out on Erling Haaland in January. He was another attacker on our agenda. Because like I said to you, Erling Haaland would have been an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer type signing. So there you go. So now let's delve into some news on Solskjaer. So I've got to say, I think, Solskjaer is responsible for most of Manchester United's improvements. Because I think, there's been a lot of improvements at Manchester United, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got recommended in. And I think, I've seen changes under Solskjaer as well, than what I saw under Jose Mourinho, like I was talking about a while back. So I think, the things that have changed and maybe improved as well, I think the personnel's changed, the tactics have changed. A lot more players have improved as well under the Solskjaer era, than the Jose Mourinho era. Prime example, Solskjaer, he's been getting the best out of Anthony Martial. He's been getting the best out of Luke Shaw. Of course, Luke Shaw's been at the football club since 2014. We paid around £30 million for him from Southampton. He's now into his sixth season at the club, Luke Shaw, so he's been a long servant here. My only element of concern about Luke Shaw is that he's very injury prone. But prior to that, I think very, very good left back Luke Shaw. And he is our first choice left back. But yeah, also too, he's been getting the best out of, Rashford as well. He's another one, Solskjaer. Also too, Fred, he's been given his opportunities and stuff like that. So there you go. But, back under the Jose Mourinho era, Mourinho, of course, had bad disputes, with Anthony Martial and Luke Shaw and also to Paul Pogba. He's got a bad reputation with the top players, like I mentioned on, this video earlier on and that. So that's one, it's definitely something else that has improved. Also, too, our approach to the big games as well has also been very, very good. Because, like I said, we've registered 17 points against the big six sides this season. Like I said, we've beaten Manchester City 3 times this season. Solskjaer's made history in that aspect. He's made history in that aspect as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's actually become the first manager to beat Pep Guardiola 3 times in one season. Obviously, he's beaten Chelsea 4 times as a manager. Our record against Chelsea's been very, very good since Solskjaer got recommended in. I don't think we lost to Chelsea since Solskjaer came in. We drew with Liverpool as well earlier on in the season. Beating Tottenham twice since Solskjaer got recommended in. So that's also very, very good. Like I've said, Solskjaer's promoted the youth very, very well because, the young players have been given their opportunities this season. Obviously, the likes of Greenwood's done well. He's been given his chances. Williams, he's done very, very well. Garner, he should get more opportunities next season, but in the games he's played in, he's done well. I think Chong, he should get more opportunities next season. Angel Gomez has seldom played this season because there has been a lot of uncertainty over Angel Gomez's future at the club. I give you the news regarding Angel Gomez earlier on today. Don't forget, we've offered him a £30,000 a week, contract. Whether he accepts this new contract offer or not, I do not know. But yeah, so I think we've had the youngest squad in the Premier League this season. And don't forget, we are unbeaten in our last 11 games in all competitions and that. So obviously before the football season got suspended, we was in a good vein of form and that. But, when Solskjaer first got recommended in any way, he did confirm that, everybody would get their chances to express themselves. I've also got to say as well, another thing that's improved under Solskjaer, I've got to say we have improved in the transfer market under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, like I've said before. What I mean is, I think, we have been a bit more sensible with our recruitment. And that. And I think, the 5 signings that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has recommended in have actually, transformed Manchester United, because, got to say, all the signings he's brought in have done really, really well. Of course, last summer Solskjaer brought Daniel James, Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. Last summer, Solskjaer spent around £150 million on them 3 players. And in January, he recommended Bruno Fernandes and Ighalo in and that. And he has spent around £220 million as Solskjaer in 3 transfer windows. Yes, he has in that. So I've got to credit him, for the players that he has recommended into the football club so far. Definitely, like I've said in my other videos, well, it's one of the reasons. Bruno Fernandes definitely, has saved Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job at Manchester United. There's a few other things that have saved his job, but I think, Bruno Fernandes, has definitely, saved his job at Manchester United, because definitely you can say Bruno Fernandes, has made a big difference in the team. Like I said, he's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career as Bruno Fernandes. Is it 3 goals and 4 assists for the player so far? He won Premier League Player of the Month for February, reflecting on his good run of performances. And definitely Bruno Fernandes is the foreseeable future for Manchester United without a shadow of a doubt. And like I said, Solskjaer has been here now around 16 months, so he has been at the football club over the year. But I'll stick to what I said before. I think Solskjaer does deserve another season, and he does deserve at least a couple of more transfer windows, because he is still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team. So he does need a couple of more transfer windows at the football club. He really, really does, because it is a transition period, and it's been a transition period for quite some time. And he said at the beginning of this year, he's hopeful that, we can get through this transition period and that. So there you go. Also, as well, it's just been reported from the Daily Star, 7 players could be sold by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the summer transfer market. Around 7 players could be sold, yeah. I think Solskjaer's got an idea of the players he's going to be selling. I think, we're definitely going to get rid of Phil Jones. Phil Jones is now into his 9th season at the football club. Also, too, we're going to get rid of Jesse Lingard. We're also going to get rid of Andres Pereira. That's 3. Try and get rid of Sanchez permanently, or probably loan Sanchez back out, because we won't be able to get rid of him permanently, reflecting on his substantial wages. Obviously get rid of Chris Smalling and Marcus Rojo on permanent transfers as well. Possibly, Diego Dalot could be going as well. Diego Dalot is our backup right back, don't forget. Because obviously, Wan-Bissaka is our first choice right back. And Diego Dalot, I think, has only played once in the Premier League this season. Well, he started once in the Premier League, because he's had a few injuries as Diego Dalot. We actually got Diego Dalot in Jose Mourinho's final transfer window at the football club. We paid around £19 million for him from Porto and that. Pogba, there's still a possibility chance that he could leave in the summer, but I think, he will stay at Manchester United for another season. Pogba, I've obviously given you news on Pogba today. You already know the news on Paul Pogba. Obviously, there's been talks today of Aaron Ramsey coming to Man United as part of a swap deal of Pogba going back to Juventus and that. So you already know the news on Paul Pogba and that. So there you go. And like I said, in the last 6 or 7 years, Manchester United have been playing catch up. Like I said, we haven't dominated football since the Alex Ferguson era. Ferguson, of course, endured 27 years, 26, 27 years at Man United, and obviously endured 20 odd years of success. Won a total of 38 trophies under the Alex Ferguson era. But he's the greatest. He's one of the most decorated managers of all time, definitely. When we did recommend Ferguson in North Aberdeen in 1986, don't forget, till 1990, he didn't win out. So Ferguson didn't win out in his first 4 years when we recommended him into the football club. But of course, since Ferguson retired back in 2013, we have been playing catch up. The last time I won the title was in Alex Ferguson's last season, and that. So we haven't won the Premier League for 7 years. But in the last 6 or 7 years, like I've said before, we've had different managers with different philosophies. Different managers, different philosophies, spent close to the £1 billion range on, players. And like I've said, we recruited over 30 odd players in since the Alex Ferguson era and that. Obviously, Woodward's been criticised, for because a lot of the players we have brought in the last 6 or 7 years haven't been the right calibre players for Man United, and obviously he's been criticised for us, overpaying for players and that, and obviously our recruitment policy's been very, very poor. So this is another reason, why Ed Woodward has been criticised. Ed Woodward's been at the football club since 2012. He's been here 8 years now. The Glazers have been here since 2005, and I think the Glazers have taken over £1 billion out of the football clubs, since they came in. So there you go. But Solskjaer is our fourth permanent manager since the Ferguson era. So the managers we sacked is Moyes, endured 89 months. Louis van Gaal endured 2 years, did win the FA Cup under him. And we sacked Jose Mourinho after he endured 2.5 years at Manchester United and won the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season and that. So we haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers, put it that way and that. But yeah, so Solskjaer's hoping to build the next great Manchester United team, and hopefully, we can build a team, as how good the. Hopefully, we can build a team, as good as the team, we had under Ferguson and that. But I don't, really see that happening, to be quite honest with you. If hopefully the season can resume, because we can get some silverware on the ball, we can win the Europa League, we can win the FA Cup. Obviously, there's talks about the season resuming sometime in June. So there you go. So anyway, guys, drop me comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.